This video is going to cover toxic foods, questionnaires, and vital signs. These are all pretty straightforward, so I don't need to give much information. As far as the toxic foods, you can just click on that. If you accidentally fed your pet a food, you could look through if there's potential high risk or low risk of toxicity, depending on what the food was. This is by no means a complete list. Always make sure you call ASPCA or poison control, but sometimes there can be a wait trying to get a hold of people, so this could be a quick reference, especially with some of the information out there not always being completely reliable. As far as the questionnaires, there's a number of different questionnaires that are available. I'll go through one example, the DISHA. This is for cognitive dysfunction screening, so dementia in animals. And what you would do with these different questionnaires is just answer the questions. I'll go through the questions real quickly here, just for the sake of time. But you'll go through each of these questions, answering them to the best of your ability. And the ultimate goal is to be able to give you a score. So here we can see that it's a 36 out of 54. To figure out what that means, we can look at what this means based on the study, the data that's out there. And based on a score of 36, this patient would have severe cognitive dysfunction. And there's more information down here. And you can export this information as either a PDF, a Word document, or if the vet uses a type of record-keeping database called EasyVet, you can export it as EasyVet text. And for those interested, I can just quickly show you what that would look like. So we'll save it. We'll go to our folders and we'll look at our text here. And if you look at the way that this is exported, there's hashtags and there's asterisks. And what this is going to do is either bold or it'll change the font. And this can be copied and pasted into the patient's record in a format that works well for the EasyVet software. So for those that are interested or curious, that option is there as well. Go back to the PawNode app now. Other questionnaires, there's a seizure questionnaire, there's a quality of life questionnaire for animals that have heart disease, there is a cardiac questionnaire, and both of these are questions about the pet and also the owner. So we do have to worry about owner's quality of life too, especially with certain diseases. It can be very difficult to see your pet suffering. Another assessment is this scale that looks at overall quality of life, and you might have questions about, is it time to euthanize a patient or not? So this is a very difficult decision that we unfortunately have to make with our pets. But if you go through this questionnaire and look at the results, it'll give you a somewhat objective assessment as far as, is your pet suffering and should euthanasia be up for discussion or not. And then there's also questionnaires for different diseases that animals might have. So whether it's things like brain tumors, meningoencephalitis, or Chiari malformations, these are just different questionnaires that have been validated. Sometimes your vet will want you to fill these out, so this is something you could do at home rather than having to wait in the office and do, or maybe even just email it to them for them to have this information. And then lastly is the vital signs. So for some animals, especially those that have heart disease, we might want to keep track of their heart rate or their respiratory rate. Respiratory rate's usually more common that we'll keep track of. You'll see that there's this count duration. Depending on how long you want to count the number of breaths for, you can put that in here. So if we just wanted to do a 10-second countdown or 10-second timer, it'll give you a 2-second countdown and then a timer is going to start. So you can count the number of breaths while this is going down. And once those 10 seconds run out, then we can close this and we can put in the number of breaths that we saw. So let's say we saw 4 breaths in that 10 seconds. It'll give you the rate, so 24 breaths per minute, and the same thing for the heart rate as well. And then you can save that information. It'll save the date and time. If you want to put any notes in here, you can. And then it'll save that down here. And this will create a journal and that journal can be exported so you can send it to your veterinarian, just like other export features of the app. There's also additional vitals that you can take if the veterinarian's requesting that you do this at home. So that's going to cover it for the pet owner section. There's a QR sharing section down here, which it's easiest to cover that with the veterinary professional as well. So there's a whole separate video on QR sharing, and that's going to be for both the pet owner and the veterinarian.